and 10 in your stuff?
Yeah.
And did you understand why Thomas cannot?
Good morning. The Brazos County Commissioners Court, Brazos County Commissioners Court of Brazos County will meet in regular session April 29th, 2025 at 10 a.m. in the Commissioners Courtroom of the Brazos County Administration Building, 200 South Texas Avenue, Suite 106, Bryan, Texas. The public may watch the meeting live on the Brazos County Commissioners Court YouTube channel. First item is invocation and pledge of allegiance, and I will lead those. Lord, in this Easter season, we thank you for coming to save us. We thank you for this day. We thank you for our lives in this country where we can follow you and worship you in freedom. Bless all those who are not so fortunate as us to be able to do the same. We ask you to keep our country safe, as well as our first responders and all those that stand in the breach to serve, and keep us all in our daily lives able to just enjoy our lives. I ask you to bless this court and all the visitors here today. Let us come closer to you, Lord, so that we may be closer to each other in you. We ask these things in your holy, perfect, and precious name. Amen.
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 I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Our second item is call for citizens' input or concern, and we'll start with Willis Cooper.
Good morning.
Morning.
My name is Willis Cooper. I live out close to Agaland Safari, and I spoke last week and asked a question about bringing up an agenda item that concerns the Interloop East. I was told that it's not a Brazos County project. However, by the county attorney told me that. However, I've gone out and done a little research on the county's websites, KBTX, WTAW, and about half a dozen others. I'm going to read some of these to y'all just so everybody can get this. This is from KBTX, February 14th to 24. Brazos County Commissioners green light Interloop East design plans. This is KBTX, February 24th. According to Commissioner Court documents, design consultant Quiddity Engineering is required to hold 100 meetings with property owners, 25 meetings with stakeholders, 25 meetings with undefined agencies to address design-related issues. All talking about the Quiddity $11 million design contract that was, by the way, signed by Judge Peters. A couple more. December of 24, Interloop East frequently asked questions. Additionally, Brazos County Commissioners Court approved the contract to move forward with Interloop East study and hired the design agency. Bryan College Station Eagle, February 24. County, Brazos County, approves $11 million Interloop design contract. Facebook, take it for what it's worth. Quiddity $11.2 million contract for the Interloop East study, awarded by Brazos County Commissioners. So all these, as you start rolling them up, I have a question about what the county attorney told us after my speaking time was up, that this, in fact, Interloop East is not a Brazos County project and couldn't be added to the agenda. So what I'm asking again today is that county commissioners add the Interloop East as an agenda item in an upcoming meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Just so we don't get the county attorney in trouble, the county attorney was not involved in this. He's a separate entity. It was the general counsel, which would be myself. So I just wanted to make sure that was clear before Earl started getting a bunch of calls.
I apologize for that.
Next speaker is Teresa Sykes.
Good morning, guys. Know a lot of y'all. I've lived here my whole life. I was born and raised in the Horry community, My grandfather is Hardy Whedon, also known as Hardy Whedon Road. My dad, Travis Whedon, was born on our family land. My grandfather raised cows and was a real pioneer. My dad lived his whole life on our family land. He had a dairy for 25 years, later building a swine center, selling 5,000 pigs a year. I was raised on our family land and raised my children, Christy Sykes Harvey and Clint Sykes, there. Country life is where it's at. They now bring their children to my 450 acres to hunt and ride buggies. I still live on my ranch, which I've lived on for over 60 years. I am totally against the East Loop. It will go right through my property and so many others. Think about the people who will lose their family land and homes. There needs to be other choices. Build an upper level on the East Bypass. I am very emotional toward this, and I've grown up out here, and it's in my heart to try to not have this happen. Thank y'all.
Thank you. Sorry about that. Our next speaker is Chris Barnes.
Good morning, Commissioners. Thank you for letting me speak this morning. I spoke a few weeks ago. I'm sorry, my name is Chris Barnes. I'm a Brazos County resident for more than 40 years. I spoke a few weeks ago about the devastating losses that honeybee colonies are undergoing in both the nation and Texas. The number of colonies lost is now sitting at approximately 1.6 million colonies since last June. I'll remind the court that pollination by honeybees accounts for about 35% of all the food available in the grocery stores. If we lose our honeybees as an economic agricultural operation, our food choices will be severely diminished. One of the factors contributing to the death of these honeybees is significant reduction in the amount of natural forage available to honeybees and other pollinators. To help you understand, honeybees typically forage in an area 3 miles from their hive, and during times when there aren't flowers, it's up to 6 miles. If you do the math, an area with a 3-mile radius equates to a little more than 18,000 acres, and it takes 2 million flower visits to make 1 pound of honey. The reason I'm bringing this up again is that all of my hives are located along the many proposed East Loop paths. Even though my property is not in the direct path, my business will certainly be impacted. The impact reaches much further than simply the natural areas being taken out for the road itself. One of the stated goals of the project is to help support both residential and commercial development in the area. And as bad as the road would be for wiping out natural pollinator forage, development in county areas that would follow a major road construction would be far, far worse. But my wife and I are not the only beekeepers in Brazos County who keep bees in that area. There are many, many others, some in here, who are taking advantage of the change in 2012 to the agricultural code that made beekeeping an ag activity for property tax purposes. If you recall from my presentation a couple weeks ago, one of the main purposes of that law was to help spread colonies out for disease prevention. Any development in rural areas is counterproductive to that effort. I can promise you that no study that's currently being done is even looking at the impact on honeybees and the loss of natural forage. It's simply a topic that's being ignored. And it's not because they don't care, it's because the people making the decision simply don't know that they don't know. But now that you've been informed by me, you do know, or at least you have some information. For this reason, I'm asking the court to both cancel the current contracts that Brazos County has with John Polster and Quiddity, as well as put the issues on the agenda so we can have public discourse. All current contracts the county has should be subject to full discussion in the agenda. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Robert Johnson.
Morning, Commission. Good morning, everyone. You have to forgive me, I'm kind of tired. I was up most of the night and working and then helping my son with the project, and then got up this morning. I'm going right to work after I speak here. But I want to reiterate some of the things that the people before me spoke about. One of the things that disturbed me was hearing this gentleman here last week when I watched the video about how this project is not a county project, it's a TxDOT project. And then going back over a lot of the research that the Greenwoods have done with especially looking at the NPO's website that I checked out this morning again with current population projection numbers and that aren't accurate. There's a lot of half-truths or just complete, less than honest things that are out there about the need for this project. And it reminded me of a classic Seinfeld episode where they were asking how George Costanza beat a lie detector test, and his comment was, "It's not a lie if you believe it." Well, that's not the truth, but that is how people get away with presenting certain things and getting other people to believe things that are out there. The last time I came over here and spoke, which was a few weeks back, I asked that the commissioners please represent the people, not their own special interests and their own projects. We all know after all the discussion that's happened with this and all the concern that this isn't really about alleviating any kind of traffic. The proposal for this, the design and all that doesn't do any of those things. We would know that if there was actually a traffic study that would have been done at the very beginning to see if this route was really needed. There hasn't been one. We were promised one in December that sometime during the first quarter there would be one done when we had a meeting with Quiddity, and that still, to my knowledge, has not been done. I don't know if they're going to present that May 6th when they have their new presentation. But there's been a lot of promises and a lot of things that were said that there hasn't been any follow through with. There also shows to be that this is really about urbanizing the county. It has nothing to do with alleviating traffic or helping the people that live there. That is not anything that the people out in the county want. I think I mentioned that last time as well, and I've spoken to lots of people since then, and anybody who lives out there says the same thing. They do not want the county, the east part of the county, urbanized. There's no reason for it. We live out there for a reason, to get away from those things. We don't want this to turn into a little Houston, despite the fact that most of the elected officials around here have that as their agenda, to turn Brazos County into another Houston for tax purposes, getting money in and all that. That isn't why anybody who lives in Brazos County lives here. We don't want to live in Houston, we live here, and there's a reason for that. So I ask you once again, listen to the people that you represent and actually represent them. Represent their needs, not your own. Thank you.
Thank you. Beverly Greenwood.
Good morning. My name's Beverly Greenwood. I live on Steep Hollow. Last week I put together a movie after I heard the following from Brazos County General Counsel Bruce Arrett, specifically asking for an agenda item on Highway 6 or the East Loop. Those are both TxDOT projects. There is no vote that the county could or could not take to change those projects. And so that's not really an appropriate ask for the commission to put on an agenda item for something that is in fact not county business. In digging around, as I do, looking at the news for future Highway 36A coming up from Freeport to Hempstead, I found TxDOT Commissioner Stephen Alvis addressing the Waller County Commissioner's Court. Commissioner Alvis is a governor-appointed member of the Texas Transportation Commission, which oversees statewide activities of TxDOT. 36A is a TxDOT project and was on the Waller County Commissioner's Court agenda. It is not a project that Waller County is paying for with a bond, nor an $11.2 million study, nor a $15,000 a month consultant. Commissioner Alvis addressed the court saying this: TxDOT is very conscious of who our customer is. It's you. It's you. We're under Chapter 7 of the government code, which is economic development. So TxDOT is an economic development engine for Texas, for you, for the citizens, taxpayers of Texas. And so you, Commissioners Court, are the elected officials, and we're here to help you. But again, we're not deciding where the roads are going to go. That's you. That's you and your community. You're in control. You're the leaders. You've been elected by the public. It's your decision. It's your constituents' decision. So this point isn't lost on anyone. Commissioner Alvis was appointed by the governor as a leader of TxDOT. I will contrast that with our $15,000 a month consultant, John Polster, that threatened us back in December, saying that if we don't build this inner east loop, TxDOT will, and they will just come in and clear it. He did the same thing to Denton residents back in 2022, as recorded in the Denton newspaper, by saying, quote, if the bond program doesn't pass and the county doesn't move forward on the outer loop, it doesn't stop the outer loop. The outer loop will then be picked up by the North Central Texas Council of Governments and TxDOT. Right now, if we do it, the county, we know our neighbors. We go to church with everybody here. We can communicate and get the input as best as possible. So which is it, Brazos County? Are you, the leaders that we elected, going to ramrod this down our throats under the exaggerated threat that if you don't do it, TxDOT will? Is it really best for your constituents that you ignore our constant request for transparency and public discussion behind General Counsel's incorrect and reckless statement of last week? I don't think so.
Cindy Wiley.
Good morning. I have a request. I know whether you like him or not, our former Commissioner Aldridge is currently in surgery. So if you guys could keep him in your prayers, I think that would be very good of us.
Thank you.
Anyway, thank you, Beverly. I hate having to follow you because you bring such emotion. But I want to talk about elections. I know that we're going to do a review of voting precincts. And I'm going to read from Cause of America, which is an organization that has been very forward-thinking in trying to bring back security in our elections, and they're in the fight. Anyway, the importance of citizen oversight in our elections is paramount, and it requires people to be well-versed in all aspects of their elections and county going-ons, including how elections are run and the different systems and processes that comprise elections. The framers of our Constitution were intensely aware of the tendency of a centralized authority to tyrannize both minority interests and rights and those citizens distant from the centralized authority itself. This view guided their design of a federal system and Republican form of government, where power is dispersed not only between branches within the federal government, but geographically between the distinct governments of the federal and the states, and then further subdivided between branches within the states. That dispersal and subdivision was meant not only to set authorities of different governments and branches against one another, each jealously guarding their own power as a check on the cruel of unrestrained and tyrannical power, but to ensure as many governing decisions as possible and necessary would be made as close as possible to the people themselves, who would know their local conditions and see immediately both the good and bad effects of those decisions. This is the reason for the Elections Clause, Article 1, Section 4 of our U.S. Constitution. The tempering effect of that local control is only possible and can only be achieved if the grassroots citizen, that's us, are well informed and engaged in the oversight of their government at the local level. It is here that citizens' adaptability, resourcefulness, and detailed knowledge of both their constitutional rights and local laws enable them to effectively pursue election integrity and transparency. Informed and educated grassroots partners acting independently, yet in concert in their own states, help to temper the unmitigated corruption and maladministration. These grassroots efforts now bring us closer to the framers' vision for citizen-led government than any other time in recent history. Thank you.
Thank you. Sabrina Brown.
Good morning. Hello.
Good morning.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak. I hope to break up the tension in the room with a bit of levity. So I went to the College Station City Council meeting last week, and I was just really inspired by one of the citizens who went up to speak and thank all of the counselors who had been working in some of the parks projects. So I wanted to continue that positive momentum and thank some of the commissioners here on the court for their work. So Commissioner Nettles, I want to thank you for giving credit where credit is due. It takes a lot of integrity as a leader to skirt off praise that isn't yours. So thank you for doing that in the previous courts. Judge Peters isn't here, but I have seen him with a lot of patience speaking to the citizens who come to these meetings, explaining some of the problems that are going on and issues that they can be engaged in. So I wanted to thank him for his patience. Commissioner Conderola?
Close
Sorry.
enough.
I wanted to thank you for your wonderfully motivational invocations every week. I'm also a follower, and it's always lovely to be, in God's presence in these meetings. Commissioner Brown, I wanted to thank you for your support of local businesses. You are always a champion for local businesses, and I know that they appreciate it, and I just like to keep things local. So thank you. Commissioner Watson, well, what else can I say? Just thank you for being the person you are in the community and always showing up. So I wanted to, again, give praise where praise is due and thank you, and again, hopefully break up some of the complaints. You also may know me as the cat advocate. So I am here to once again advocate on behalf of the kitties in our community, but this time I get to do so in partnership with the Bryan Animal Center. I'd like to promote their upcoming Dine to Donate. As elected officials, I know that y'all probably can't participate in my petition, but you can support a local branch of the Texas Roadhouse franchise by going and dining to donate 10% of profits with this flyer. Will be donated to Bryan Animal Center on May 6th from 3 p.m. to 9 p.m. And this is on the City of Bryan's Animal Services website as well for anyone who would like to print the flyer to take with them to get food. And I want to say that I don't eat steak or any meat at all, so to be promoting Texas Roadhouse is a challenge, but I really do support these kitties, and I hope that y'all will consider going and getting some food to help support the Bryan Animal Center. So thank you so much. Have a good rest of your day.
Thank you. Charles Coates.
All right, well, Charles Coates with BCS Habitat for Humanity. Thank you, Sabrina, for your kind words for the commissioners and for bringing a little levity here. I am actually not here to speak about the East Loop, even though personally my family and their land is affected by it, and I hope there's some conclusion there. But I wanted to speak on behalf of BCS Habitat for Humanity. I believe he's either our current or will be soon chancellor for A&M, Glenn Hagar. In the last year, put out a study as comptroller where he said that there are almost 400,000 starter homes in Texas that need to be built that aren't. You've got a real lack of affordable housing throughout the state, as well in the Brazos Valley as well. For a BCS Habitat case, we have several properties within the city of Bryan, not on the east side of the county, just letting you know, but that we are trying to develop. There are dozens of Habitat for Humanity's, other nonprofits that build affordable housing, starter homes basically across the state, that are really in need of the initial capital to be able to develop these homes that in the state of Texas, young families especially most urgently desire. And so what I wanted to make clear today is that there are several pieces of legislation that Habitat for Humanity, as well as other nonprofit affordable housing organizations, are really trying to push at the legislature right now. Those are Senate Bill 208, as well as House Bill 4505. What that would do is create a revolving loan fund, not free money. It would be something that would be repaid, that would provide the capital for Habitat for Humanity, as well as other affordable housing home building nonprofits, to be able to afford that upfront cost of, it's very difficult to fundraise for streets, sewers, lamp posts, things like that, as well as design and all of that that goes into building a subdivision. It's a lot easier to fundraise for the Jones family or what have you. And so what this bill would do is it would jumpstart trying to fill this void of these almost 400,000 starter homes that are missing in the state of Texas. I hope you would join us in reaching out to your legislators, your elected officials at the state level, senator, as well as whichever representative you have. Again, SB 208 and 4505. We only have a matter of weeks before the end of the legislative session, and if you believe in building affordable homes for families in need, home ownership, we would ask you to join us. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Kyle Greenwood.
Good morning, Commissioners. Kyle Greenwood, Brazos County. While it was shocking to hear Council's statement last week, I was not surprised. I could bring up a copy of the contract and highlight the names on the contract and show the judge's signature, but I won't, because that's already been firmly established. I could say that I'm not surprised that Council was confused because of the lack of transparency around the whole trip bond package. But I won't, because he's not the target of my comments this morning. If you read the language of the trip bond that was in the ballot, which I have here, it says, and I'm only reading part of this, principal amount of $100 million for the purpose of providing funds for permanent public improvements, including designing, acquiring, constructing, improving, and maintaining roads, bridges, and highways within Brazos County. And then it goes on to say, including participating in joint projects with various federal, state, city, and regional council of government entities. Now I have here with me the bond program list, which I've referenced here before. Up here in the corner it says draft, and I always wondered, how come I can't find the final? All we can find is the draft. What's the deal? Okay. Well, if you read the ballot language, this is just a draft, because this is just an idea. Okay? Because the bond funds can be used for anything within the county. Need some money to finish up the medians on Texas Avenue? Yeah, we can do that with the bond funds, because that's what the ballot says. Okay? Need some money to pull out some medians and put into new traffic signals? Yeah, we can do that, because the ballot language says we can. It's broad, vague, and wide open. Need some money? We're falling short for the maintenance on the garage next door? Oh yeah, we can do that with some bond funds. Maybe we need to acquire some right-of-way to extend University Drive. Yeah, we can do that, because the ballot language says we can do it, use all the funds for permanent public improvements. And so this list, this is just an idea, folks. And we won't see a final until the funds have all been used up. It wasn't until I spoke with state officials from some other counties that I realized the depth of the deception that has been perpetrated here in Brazos County. This whole bond issue stirs up images of Boss Tweed and Tammany Hall. So once again, commissioners, I appeal to the four of you. Please listen to your constituents. Represent them and their needs. Please stop the tyrannical rule of one person over this county. Will you be known as the Commissioner's Court that stood up for good governance, or the Commissioner's Court that just sat by and did what they were told? So, we will continue our fight for good governance, for transparency in the process, and for opportunities for true citizen participation. If I'm incorrect in anything I said here, I'm sure council will correct me.
Thank you. That concludes the public speakers. We'll move on to 3 presentations and/or discussions. Presentation by Trudy Hancock, Elections Administrator, on review of the selected precincts by the Commissioners Court in accordance with Section 42.006 of the Texas Election Code. Trudy?
I always have to study this thing because I don't work it very well. Be sure it's on. You go with it? Okay. Go ahead. Okay. So, Section 42.031 of the Texas Election Code states that the Commissioners Court in March or April of the odd-numbered years should review the voting precincts to see if they comply with 42.005, 42.006, and 42.007. So 42.005 is the relationship of districts and justice and commissioners' precincts. That states that only one commissioner, JP, each of those things are allowed in a precinct. 42.006 states the population requirements. A county of our size, the maximum for a voting precinct is 5,000. The minimum is 100, and that's registered voters. 42.007 discusses combining incorporated and unincorporated territories. We are supposed to try to keep those separate. That helps us ensure that voters get the correct ballot when they come to vote. But there is an exception to allow unincorporated and incorporated areas to be combined if the size of that precinct does not meet the other requirements. So we're going to look at some recommendations that myself and my staff have gone through our voting precincts and looked at. And these are some precincts that we're recommending that we combine to meet those population requirements. So our first recommendation is that we combine precincts 4, 19, 25, 46, and 79. Now these are voting precincts. Remember that each commissioner's precinct has smaller precincts within it that are our voting precincts. And to be able to do that, remember all the JPs, the constables, all those things, city schools, representatives have to line up. And so in doing that, we will have precinct 79 that is in an unincorporated area, but we are going to use the exception that the precinct is under the population guidelines and ask that that precinct be added to that. So we're asking to combine 4, 19, 25, 46, and 79. And then precincts 54, 42, and 59, they're in Commissioner 3. And that will create a split in Bryan and College Station. And so we're asking to consolidate that, having rural ISD split. And those are pretty easy to control, the ballot styles, and work with those. It's when you get a huge population increase that sometimes that's difficult. And then we're recommending that we combine precincts 23 and 29. This is also going to create a ISD split.
Is that ISD with Navasota?
No, 23 and 29 would be with Bryan and College Station.
Okay.
Sorry, what was the question? I couldn't hear.
He wanted to know if the split would be with Navasota ISD.
Okay.
Navasota ISD is in precinct 1, and that is already a split precinct. So.
Okay.
And then precincts 2, 85, and 84. We're looking to pull in these smaller precincts to incorporate into some of the larger ones. This is going to also create a city and rural split. Precinct 70, 101, 97, 98, 94, 67, and 90. We're looking to combine those. That is going to create a city rural split. A lot of these splits that we are combining that are city rural splits, I thought I would give a little background on how those came about. So a couple legislature sessions ago, there was a change for when the city's annexed. It had to be an owner-initiated annexation. And so these areas that were left unannexed were property owners that did not want to be annexed. And so they made an agreement with the city that most of those are agricultural plots. And so they made an agreement with the city that if they ever quit using that property for agricultural uses, that it would automatically be annexed into the city. So we are going to go ahead and add those in. Those usually have 0 or 1 or 2 voters in them because they are agricultural plots. And then we're looking at combining 3, 89, 95, 96, 99, and 109. And those are the same. It's going to create us a city rural split. Precinct 77, 91, 92, and 93. And it's the same thing. It's going to create a city rural split for us. Precincts 50, 51, 65, 71, and 100, sorry. That is also going to create a city rural split. Precincts 22 and 32, that is not going to create any kind of split. We're just going to combine those precincts. They are within the city, but would still put us under the threshold of 5,000. Precincts 33 and 74 also that will not create any splits. They are within the city and within College Station, and we would still be under the threshold of 5,000. Precincts 27, 87, 110, 111, 112, and 113. That would create us a city rural split. Precincts 38, 81, and 114 will also create a city rural split. Precinct 7 and 104 would create a city rural split. Precinct 78 and 86 will also create a city rural split. And then we do have one precinct that is too large, that is over our 5,000 maximum. It is precinct 35, and we are looking to split that on Holloman Drive and create a new precinct, and that being 115. We're currently at 114 precincts because of the way our system works. Instead of reusing one of the numbers that we're getting rid of, we will have to create a new number, but it will create the new precinct with the number 115. Now keep in mind that occasionally there are things that happen that you cannot, we're going to end up with 3 precincts that we are under population on, but we cannot combine them into any other precinct because everything around them does not line up. So in precinct 83, it is not in alignment for House District. For precinct 103, it's not in alignment for House District for precinct 61, and it's not in the single member district alignment for the school district for precinct 48. So it will remain a standalone precinct, but will not have the required number of voters. Also, it will only have 20 voters in it. And then precinct 108 is the same thing. It has no voters in it currently, but because of its location, for some reason it's not going to line up. It does not have the same House representative of any precinct around it. And then the last one is going to be precinct 105. It currently has 85 voters in it, so it's just right under the threshold. With growth, I would expect it's probably going to end up being over, will reach the threshold, but it currently is not. But it also does not comply with House districts or with precinct 56, which would put it in a different single member district. So we currently have 114 voting precincts. We're eliminating 38 precincts and adding 1 precinct. So that will put us at a precinct count of 77. Any questions from the court?
Thank you, Trudy.
Yeah, thank you and your team for looking at that. It's very complex.
It's taken a while.
Yep.
But
I remember you doing that before, so thank you, and let's see how it goes for the, I know the question was from a community election involvement having precinct chairs, so I guess it'll have to be some reshuffling.
Right, and there are some, there are some pros and cons of having really large precincts. Some of the precinct chairs say it's impossible to walk your precincts if we, when we have really large ones. We combined quite a few to put us just right under the threshold of the max. I don't like to really push those limits because with the growth here, it's really hard to know, what areas are going to have an influx of new voters.
Right. And what's scary is I actually was in a meeting with our current comptroller, soon to be chancellor, and he talked about 1,600 people a day are moving to Texas. Now, how many of those are headed to Brazos County, I have no idea. But
I tell people we live in God's country, so.
You said what now?
I tell people we live in God's country, so.
So that may make us more attractive.
Okay. Next, we'll consider and take action on agenda items 4 through 33. Number 4, approval requested from the Public Defender's Office for the following: 2026 Brazos County Resolution 25-005 Indigent Defense Improvement Grant Program in preparation for submitting the grant application. B is grant application for 2026 Improvement Grant Division Expansion. And C is grant application 2026 Improvement Grant.
Move approval A through C.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those for say aye.
Aye.
Against? Okay, motion passes. Number 5, approval of the following job descriptions. A, Juvenile Services, B, 1803 Deputy Director, and B, TJJD, SA Basic Court, B, 2807 Deputy Director.
Move approval A through B, A and B.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those against? All right. Item number 6, authorization for the county judge to submit the required form to the Texas Comptroller requesting a portion of unclaimed capital credits received from electric cooperatives for the year 2024 to be returned to Brazos County.
Move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oh, yes, sir.
Can I ask a question? How much money do we think that we're going to receive back from the comptroller? Do we have any idea?
Not enough.
Not enough, that's, yeah. Any staff member know what?
Katie or Nina?
As I recall from years past, and I'm not directly involved in this, but it depends on how many other entities make claims on the funds. So if everybody asks for this, then it'll be small amounts to everybody. If fewer entities that ask for this, then the amounts will be bigger. But I'll look that up. We'll find that number for you. But I don't think it's currently known.
Okay. Thank you, Bruce.
Small piece of a pie, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. I have a motion and a second. And all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those against, same sign. Okay, motion passes. Item 7, approval of order combining election precincts 4, 19, 25, 46, and 79 to be election precinct 4 in accordance with section 42006 of the Texas Election Code.
Move approval.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those against, same sign. Motion passes. 8, approval of order combining election precincts 54, 42, and 59 to be election precinct 54 in accordance with section 42006 of the Texas Election Code.
Move to approve.
Second?
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those against, same sign. Motion passes. Number 9, approval of order combining election precincts 23 and 29 to be election precinct 29 in accordance with section 42006 of the Texas Election Code.
Move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those against, same sign. Motion passes. Number 10, approval of order combining election precincts 2, 85, and 84 to be election precinct 2 in accordance with sections 42006 and 42007 of the Texas Election Code.
Move approval.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion?
Chingalinga, this is enough to put you to sleep, but.
All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those against, same sign. Motion passes. Number 11, approval of order combining election precincts 70, 101, 97, 98, 94, 67, and 90 to be election precinct 70 in accordance with section 42006 of the Texas Election Code.
Move approval.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say aye. Motion passes. Number 12, approval of order combining election precincts 3, 89, 95, 96, 99, and 109 to be election precinct 3 in accordance with section 42006 of the Texas Election Code.
Move approval.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. Number 13, approval of order combining election precincts 77, 91, 92, and 93 to be election precinct 77 in accordance with section 42006 of the Texas Election Code.
Move approval.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, motion passes. Number 14, approval of order combining election precincts 50, 51, 65, 71, and 100 to be election precinct 100 in accordance with section 42006 of the Texas Election Code.
Move approval.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Number 15, approval of order combining election precincts 22 and 32 to be election precinct 32 in accordance with section 42006 of the Texas Election Code.
Move to approve.
Second?
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Okay, motion passes. Number 16, approval of order combining election precincts 33 and 74 to be election precinct 33 in accordance with section 42006 of the Texas Election Code.
Move to approve.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Number 17, approval of order combining election precincts 27, 87, 110, 111, 112, and 113 to be election precinct 27 in accordance with section 42006 of the Texas Election Code.
Move approval?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Number 18, approval of order combining election precincts 38, 81, and 114 to be election precinct 38 in accordance with section 42006 of the Texas Election Code.
Move approval?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right, motion passes. Number 19, approval of order combining election precincts 7 and 104 to be election precinct 7 in accordance with section 42006 of the Texas Election Code.
Move approval?
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Number 20, approval of order combining election precincts 78 and 86 to be election precinct 78 in accordance with section 42006 of the Texas Election Code.
Move approval?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. All right, 21, motion passes. 21, approval of order splitting election precinct 35 and creating election precinct 115 in accordance with section 42006 of the Texas Election Code.
Move approval.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes. 22, approval requested from the Purchasing Department to declare a list of surplus property as salvage in accordance with Local Government Code 263.152 and authorize destruction or other means of disposal.
Move approval?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those against? Motion passes. 23, approval of termination for Chapter 381 Economic Development Program Agreement between Brazos County and Relish Campus Data and Research Center, LLC.
Move approval?
Second.
We have an approval and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. 24, approval requested of Chapter 312 Economic Development Agreement between Brazos County and Relish Campus Data and Research Center.
Move approval?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Number 25, approval of no award for RFP 25-026 ADA self-evaluation transition plan and consulting.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a approval, motion and a second. Any discussion?
Yes, I'm elated that this, there was no award on this. This is a $500,000 study that we've figured out now how we can do it in-house and save that $500,000. So kudos to the staff for coming up with an answer to this issue that needs to be addressed.
Fred, and I'll bet whoever's hired for that will be local.
Yes, sir. Let's hope so.
Amen. Yeah, good. I echo what you said. Okay, any other comments? Okay, all those for the motion say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Same sign, okay. Motion passes. 26, approval of contract 25-116, indexing and imaging services for the Brazos County Clerk's Office with DLT Solutions LLC.
Move approval.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right, motion passes. 27, award of RFP CIP 25-578 Hidden Springs and Stony Brook Culvert Replacement. Recommended award, Texcon General Contractors.
Move approval.
Second.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion?
Just the fact that this is a local company.
That's right. Okay. All those for the motion say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Okay, motion passes. 28, permission to advertise CIP 25-593 Old Reliance Road, Phase 2.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Okay, 29. Approval of the following committee for RFP CIP 25-593 Old Reliance Road, Phase 2. A, Jimmy LaFleur, a General Superintendent, Road and Bridge. B, William Bill Hadley, Capital Project Manager, Road and Bridge. C, Robert Perry, Area Supervisor, Road and Bridge. There's a D, a Purchasing Non-Voting Member. E, a Legal Non-Voting Member. And F, a GLS Engineer of Record Non-Voting.
Move to approve A through F.
Second.
Motion and a second. Do we have any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes. 30, request for approval of the final plat of Arrowhead Village Phase 1A private subdivision being a replat of Lot 1, Block 1, Bewley Addition, Phase 1, 23.096 acres, Southwest Robertson Survey, A-202, City of College Station, ETJ, Brazos County, Texas. Site is located in Precinct 1.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. 31, budget amendments. FY 24-25 budget amendments 28.01.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. 32, personnel change of status. Approval of personnel change of status.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes. 33, payment of claims. Approval of payment of claims 820-9315-820-9436 and 920-4165 through 920-4245.
Move approval A and B.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. 34, acknowledgement of FY 2024-2025 budget to actuals by fund as of April 23rd, 2025. Acknowledgement of FY 2024-2025 contingency budget to actuals fund as of April 23rd, 2025. 35 is an acknowledgement of monthly reports submitted in April 2025. 36, Juvenile Director's Report on Detention Population. Linda.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
We have 31 juveniles in detention, 17 males, 14 females, and we had 32 on electronic monitor.
Thank you. Sheriff's report on inmate population. Chief?
Good morning, Commissioners. Our jail total as of this morning is 765. That's 655 men, 110 women. We have 50 on electronic monitoring.
Thank you. Okay, announcement of interest items and possible future agenda topics.
I just want to announce that Thursday, May 1st, it's a couple of days from now, this county is sponsoring the first ever local vendor fair. We want to get local businesses to try to get business with the county. And since we announced this, both cities have joined us, both ISDs have joined us, BVCOG has joined us, and Texas A&M Purchasing has joined us. So this is the first event of its kind. It's from 1 o'clock to 4 o'clock on the 1st at the Brazos Center. So
the Forest Service too.
Yes, and the Forest Service. So please spread the word. And this is brought to you by Brazos County.
Okay, and there's been a lot of talk about town halls. So there will be a town hall in Precinct 4. May is a busy month with graduations, both at the university level, both at the college level. And I won't call it Precinct 4 Town Hall, but it will always be held, the ones that I participate in will always be held in Precinct 4. I partner with the city councilmen who represent, so my precinct is split into 3 city council districts, and so when we've had our town hall, it has always been that we partner with the local government, i.e. city council and me as Precinct 4, in addition to the constable and the JP. We will be having our town hall on Saturday, June the 7th at 10 a.m. It works better for the constituents that attend those meetings. It will be at the Hope Crossing facility, which is the old Carver Kemp building on MLK. I don't have the exact number right now, but I will get a social media post up, have someone create a social media event announcement page, but it will be June 7th, 10 a.m. on MLK, and more information to come. Everyone is welcome. Like I said, I partner with the City Council because it's time effective for all of us if we combine the City Councilman in addition to the elected officials with the county. And typically breakfast, is a really nice breakfast is served at this event. So refreshments and coffee and juice and water and sometimes some good old grits and stuff. So y'all come on out. Everyone is always welcome. Like I said, my part was I'm not a social media person, so I didn't do it that way. But please come out and see what we talk about. We typically invite different potential resource information and have them come and present information that the citizens can use, to improve their lives, improve their homes, improve their health. So that is the kind of town hall that I typically conduct. Each of us as elected officials will talk about what is going on in our respective areas, but it is also, we provide resources to the community. So y'all come on out. Like I said, we only do ours every quarter. So, thank you.
Just a reminder, Tuesday, May 6th from 5 to 7 at Legends Event Center will be the second public meeting where Quiddity Engineering has been looking at the road path and study for East Loop in Brazos County for a potential loop. The maps and information will be on display, and there will be representatives there to discuss with the public, and public can also weigh in thoughts on the new routes that are proposed as well as the existing routes that were there before. So that is May 6th from 5 to 7 at Legends. It's BYOG, bring your own grits. So
we will provide grits.
Anyone else? Okay. Item 39 is to adjourn. Thank you all.